everybody? What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it.
What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Paradise Hulu, Season 1, Episode 2, Sinatra. Hey, lovers. How y'all doing today? It's the day after Valentine's Day. I had a great Valentine's Day with my man. I told y'all, did I tell y'all I have a new man? I've been having a new man, okay? So we went out for Valentine's. We had a great time. They had a nice dinner, kind of where we had our first date. It was a really nice time. So I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. I don't want to waste no time, so let's go ahead and get right into it.
So I thought this episode was good. They're still kind of building up the story and the characters to kind of give us an idea of what's going on in this world. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Just okay. Okay, so we starting to get to know backstory. They have no problem using flashbacks to tell a lot of this story. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. We see 12 years earlier. This is a flashback. We're in a flashback at the beginning of the episode, and everybody's walking into a warehouse where a woman is giving an introduction. Okay, all these people that are in this room are like the top people in their fields. They're taking them on. They don't want to waste their time, so they all get on a jet and they go somewhere. While they're on the jet, this woman sits down next to a guy. You know, he kind of remind me of that guy that used to be on Criminal Minds, the smart guy. She sits down next to this guy and she starts to talk to him and ask him if he had unlimited resources, could he build her a city that had everything that, you get everything that normal people have in a city for about 25,000 people. And he says he would laugh for her, and then he would laugh again because this is impossible. There's no place to excavate underground that will be that big that can hold all of those things. So she just says, okay, that's what I've been told. So they exit this plane, they get off, and they get into this caravan. They have to put a bag over their head. They're in like the desert. They have to put these bags over their head. They go and drive, and then they come into this beautiful place where basically they've been excavating. They've been doing the exact thing the man said they couldn't do. That's what they've been doing. They've been excavating this under this mountain. It's big enough for a small city, and she tells him, I know this is overwhelming, but I need for you to build my city. We're back in the present, and we see Collins looking at this cigarette with this number on it. The number is 812092. I got it this time. He's trying to figure out, how to decipher, finding several different ways, scratch on paper, trying to figure out what this number means and what it could mean. And we get a little bit of look while he's doing that at the ecosystem of Paradise, how it works, how they get their fruits and vegetables, how they get to the store, everything, how it grows in a greenhouse. And see that there are little horses. I noticed that there was little like horses to ride, like the horses you put a quarter in to ride, like outside of the store. In front of like almost every store in town, they had this little horse all over the place. But you could see like the city was like vintage looking, but still had modern touches, like the LED lights in the library, and it's just how things looked. So it had a modern twist to it, but like a vintage and nostalgic look, I guess, when they designed the town. Okay. Also see some people going to get something on their wrist, recharged, replaced, fixed, or whatever the case may be. So we see her name is Sinatra. So we see Sinatra trying to write a eulogy for Cal. And her husband is in the bed. They kind of look at each other a little sadly. And then we flash back to how they met each other. Remember, she told us in the last episode, we flash back to how they met each other at a bar. So very cute, very flirtatious. It's giving very much love at first sight. Very cute. We liked it. Very demure, real cute. We also see Collins waking up to his empty side of the bed as per usual. And I can feel his loneliness. And Sterling K. Brown is doing such a good job acting because I can feel the loneliness and the emptiness inside this man, okay? So we see the layout of his medals. We see kind of like an overlook of like him, his life. And we also see the notebook where he's been constantly trying to decipher what this number means that he found on this cigarette. Wakes up and lo and behold, Billy's in the kitchen cooking breakfast for the kids already. And his boss is there telling him that she needs him to come in. He assures the kids that everything is going to be okay. And then he goes on with her. Now, while they're in the car riding up there, he asks her, do they have any suspects? I mean, obviously he's going to be a suspect because he's the last person who saw him alive, right? She could be a suspect because she's sleeping with him. And she says, well, I care about him. And, he basically says that you need to be recused off the case, girl, because I don't even know why you own the case, because you were sleeping with this man. Okay. And she tells him basically, I cared about him. They do not have a suspect. They do not have a motive. There's the autopsy was the next day and they did run a DNA, but because they're where they are, they don't have really the best DNA capabilities, which is kind of far-fetched for me. Because if you design this whole city, and maybe they didn't anticipate people killing each other, so that's why they didn't set up that part of the city. But it seemed like if you pick, these are 25,000 people who survived in the whole world, like, don't you think you would, you know what I'm saying, have the best doctors there? But whatever. And she told him, because he does question her about why she's on the case, because like I said, for the 5th time, she's sleeping with him. And so she tell him, hold up, baby, I was at the bar having cocktails with my homegirls, okay, from 10:45 to 12:15, whenever the camera was down, baby, I was out of there. So don't look at me, because I ain't killed that man. Also, the tablet is missing. The most important tablet in the whole wide world that has all the information on it that he found out about in the meeting. That tablet is missing. She asked him, do he have it? He said he don't have it. The people are upset. Sinatra is coming to a meeting. This is all the board members. I'm sure people are, tripping, they panicking, and she tells them that they're going to tell everybody that Cal had a heart attack, okay? And they go off about it, and she tell everybody, hold up, get your together, okay? Pull it together. This is the story, and we gonna stick to it, okay? Then we go into another flashback where her and her husband are married. They're in the grocery store. They're shopping, having a life, even though she's like a multi-millionaire who owns and created this company, richest woman in the world, or self-made millionaire, or whatever she is. And so her husband and her seem to have a loving relationship. As they leave the grocery store, she finds out that the merger has happened, and she has, this company, she's gotten whatever she wanted to get, okay? And at the same time, her son is sitting on a horse outside of the store, riding a horse, and he has some type of episode, which later ends up to him going to the hospital and furthermore. We flash back to the future, and basically she tells them, listen, we're going to call everybody in. We're going to tell them we're going to have a town hall. We're going to announce this guy. He's going to be the president, and they're going to increase everybody else's security until they figure out some answers for what's going on. Now, they both, her and another woman, Dr. Gabrielle, she calls her with her, and they go into a room to watch the interrogation of Agent Collins. Okay, they ask multiple questions to him, and like he said, I'm not saying nothing unless you give me $2,000 a week, period, or more. Okay, $20,000. I need it from the government. I'm not talking. My religion said I can't tell you my business. Okay, so basically they ask him, are you happy that this man is dead? And so when the doctor comes in there, she puts out her hand and it says, say yes, and he says yes. So I guess psychologically, they have to, this works out for him. He gets out, she talks to the lady and says, no, I don't think he did it, girl. Go ahead and let him out of jail. So that's what they did. Take him off the suspect list because he wasn't in jail. She does mention when she meets him that she has seen him once for therapy, and she was the president's therapist. We also flash back during this time to this same doctor, or the doctor, telling Sinatra and her husband that her child is gonna die. He has had the best care that they can give him. The doctor came back from Japan, and the doctor told him that the doctor is gonna die. And she's like, "You're being pessimistic. Everybody here is so pessimistic. We're still gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it." He says, you need to hire the best people in the world. So Gabriella comes into the room. She's a grief counselor and a therapist, but Sinatra will not take her help at this time. Obviously, over the years that changed. We back in the future now. Sinatra and Collins have a chit chat, and she basically says, "You know what I do?" And he says, "No, I don't know what you do, but I know you run around here because everybody always catering to you or whatever." And why they call her Sinatra. He doesn't know why they call her Sinatra. She says she has studied up on him. We found out that his grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman. His father was one of the first black commercial pilots ever. And, he took a bullet for him, even though his wife died because of whatever Cal did. He still took a bullet for the president. And randomly she asks him, do he have the tablet? He's like, no, I don't have the tablet. She does tell him that they're going to tell everybody that he died of natural causes. She tells him that he will be assigned to her for the next 2 weeks, and then after that he's going to get a new assignment. So she asks him about his kids, and she tells him that she had a child that died, and she knows how it feels. She will never get over it, whatever the case may be. And then we have another flashback with her going to counseling with Gabriella. This is probably her first session with her. She says she has, her marriage is broken. She has another child, and she has a company that she's trying to salvage. And she says she don't want to be healed. She's forever broken, and time is only making things worse. It had been about 6 months after the little boy passed away, and her business, people rely on her, so she got to be able to function. So she's overreacting to everything. If her daughter sneezes, she's having a heart attack, so she needs help with that. When we get back to the present, she basically tells Collins to leave the situation alone, take his leave of absence, and go on by his business. Once again, we flash back to her. She's going to some type of seminar, and it looks like a conference where they're talking about different things happening in the world. And in this conference, the man is talking about how the world is going to end, or this big catastrophic event is going to happen, but nobody's there. So he's very passive aggressive and upset at everybody because nobody came to his seminar. So as they're leaving, we see that Cal kind of runs behind, or chases down Sinatra, and they have a little conversation. So at this point, Cal is the senator. He is not a president yet. And he basically says, hey, you need to be the leader. You should win this. You're the leader. You're the clear leader. You're Sinatra. You're the chosen one. And she's like, oh, no, I'm starting to get a bald spot, in the back of my head. And you know what I mean? I can't do this or whatever. So basically she's saying you are the captain of the football team and you need to be the leader. But leader of what, though? I don't know exactly what they're running for or what they're talking about at that moment in the past. But he does ask her about her son, and they have a little moment because nobody has asked her about her son. I guess people be scared to ask you about your child whenever your child has passed away. So she's just telling him, hey, thank you for asking about my son. And then she stops the guy. He walks by the man who was doing the seminar, and she says, is this going to happen? Like, how can we prevent ourselves from this? And he's like, oh, well, yes, it's going to happen in 10 years, and he kind of feels guilty. And so he stops to talk to her when she says, I have a child. And, this woman is hyper sensitive to everything that could happen that would take another child, a person from her. And she has unlimited resources and money. So y'all already know this white woman finna take stuff to the 25th power, okay? When she asked the man what she should do, he said, you need to dig the biggest hole you can find and get in it. Later on, in another flashback, we see Dylan dying. And I ain't gonna lie, this was sad to me because he was asking her, telling her basically she could tell him that he's gonna die. He know what's gonna happen. And he was asking her, what does she think heaven is like? What does he think it looks like? And he said, I want it to be just like this, but just with more horses. So that's probably why we have so many of the horses that's around the little town, is because her son loved to ride the little horses outside of the stores. We have the whole town. They gather for the meeting. They announce Cal's death, and they swear in the vice president, who's really just a figurehead, okay? Now, Cal's son did not attend the funeral. He is in the library, and although him and the Collins daughters aren't particularly close, they kind of sit down and have a little conversation. Basically, he's upset because the last time that he talked to his father, it was an argument. Cal and his wife and all of them, they didn't get along. It's another scene in the episode where, Collins talks to the ex-wife, and she's like, I don't know what to do. I mean, we was faking the whole thing. I was living in a different house. It all wasn't fake. I did love him, basically, she was saying, but he ain't shit. And so, girl, I had to move out of here and be living a separate life, so I don't know how I'm supposed to act. So you getting the same thing with the son. They fought the last time that they talked to each other, and now he feels really, really bad about it, okay? And so then he takes her down to this area, I guess, where they cleared the people to come into the space. It kind of looks like, metal detectors like you get on an airplane. When they in the arena, Xavier asks Billy if he knows any 6-digit codes that are important down here. And he doesn't, so he's trying to get the information about the 6-digit code, but nobody knows anything. Then he kind of let him in on the fact that, he think that Samantha is up to something. Samantha, up to something. And so he tell Billy like, hey, she the big stepper. She the number one dandada, okay, around here. And he says, I'm going to take her down. And that's the end of the episode. Baby, good episode, okay? Like I said, it just built some characters up. It kind of gave us a little bit of this person, Samantha, building up her motives for doing this. She has good motives, and I'm assuming, and I'm making the assumption that everything is going to go straight to hell at some point, okay? Because this doctor, I don't know, I'm looking at her funny, you know what I'm saying? Because she looking like she liked the man a little bit, but used to be his doctor. So I know I'm looking at you a little bit of funny. I don't know, okay? I don't know what's going on. And it seems like Collins is getting a little bit more militant. He like, okay, I'm going to find out. What's strange to me about Collins is that you hated this man so much. Now, you did your job because that's what you're supposed to do your job, and that's just how you are, okay? But you hated this man so much because he had something to do with your wife's death, but you're going so hard trying to figure out who killed him. So I don't know if it's, I don't know. Like, that kind of doesn't make a little bit of sense to me. Like, why are you going so hard about this man that you told him that you can't wait till he dead? Seemed like you would be doing a party, dancing, and you ain't going to jail for it. They don't even think you did it. You know what I mean? So he could just take his leave of absence and just mind the business that pays him.
Okay? But this brother, man, he ain't gonna do that. He finna get deep in these white people business. And I already know that his life gonna be at stake. Okay? So I'll be back at you with episode number 3. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. All right? I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.